Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to round two of the Wilderness Fitness Podcast. Today, I am your host, Dr. Rob Minturn. I still cannot go live, so I have downloaded a podcast app to cut out silences and delete background noise and all that stuff. So I'm going to use them for I think for the live streams from here on out, because I'm not sure if I'm going to get the Instagram live back or not, but I can stream through them. So I got to do some techie stuff today and figure that out. Anyway, today, or this second episode, is going to be reasons as to why you've not been consistent with working out, and is it truly your fault or not? So before, I guess, no, I've got nothing else to add before we dive into it. So let's just get after it. So you're not consistently working out. There's a few reasons why I've noticed in definitely the therapy space as far as why folks don't do their home exercise program. And oftentimes the lack of compliance with the home exercise program is generally three main things. In the therapy side of things, I added a fourth to make it more of a performance side of things here too. But home exercise programs are generally, they're basically like if someone's working with me in the clinic on a travel contract, I prescribe things and make things more like a workout versus just like a therapy home exercise program. Like, yeah, I'm going to do these for therapy, but once I feel better, I don't need to do these anymore. I structure it to more like a workout. I'm working or using workout type movements, deadlifts, squats, lunges, step ups, step downs, pull ups, rows, bent over rows, landmine rows, stuff like that. If I have the equipment available in a clinic on a contract location, I'm going to use that stuff because the best rehab program looks exactly like a workout. We're just training in turn or in presence of some sort of injury or ailment. All right. So with that, the lack of compliance, there's been three main reasons, for three or four main reasons, and so we're going to go over those today. Okay. But is it truly your fault that you have not been working out consistently to get ready for a hunt or just to better your quality of life? And the answer is yes and no, right? So the lack of consistency boils down to generally your reason why you don't have a strong enough reason. So you've got to really dig deep into your reason why. But the fitness industry and influencers and all this other stuff on social media has made it so it seems very sciencey. And fitness is very sciencey, but people make it seem super complicated and super involved in terms of like having to have a significant knowledge base in order to be consistent with workout routine and to see results. Fitness truly is science, like I said. Reading books, watching YouTube videos, taking training to become a certified personal trainer, taking these courses and certifications to have a solid foundation and a solid background is not required for someone to exercise, and is not required for someone to see progress. But you do need to be consider have a muscle confusion is not a thing, right? Our brains don't have muscles. So when you develop a workout routine, you do not need to get super fancy with the movements. You do not need to get super fancy with the programming. The basics do just fine and often exceed expectations. And people see incredible progress when they do the basics, but they do the basics consistently. So we're going to go over some of that a little bit. Four main reasons why you aren't being consistent though with your workouts is the lacking of measurable tracking measurements. So oftentimes when I'm working with someone online and they enroll into the program, weeks 7 through 9 generally become the weeks that people are like, I might fall off, right? We've been meeting however often they need to meet. They're changing pretty much a life routine or they're adding in some other types of routines, whether it's to help their sleep, whether it's to help with their nutrition, whether it's to help with their gym programming, like adding in a warm up or a cool down. They're changing things up because what they were doing was not getting them to where they wanted to be, right? So if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results, it's the definition of insanity. So when they work with me, we've got to change things up, right? That's why you approached me. That's why we're working together. So week 7 through 9, if there aren't measurable, trackable measurements, it's super easy to say, I'm not seeing the progress. I'm not seeing the benefit of this. So why am I even doing this? And that's why at the very beginning, we do the Wilderness Fitness Combine to establish not just subjective measurements and subjective asterisk signs, I call them, to bring forward to the progress reports, but we take objective measurements to then fall back on and say, hey, when you're getting frustrated, do this fitness assessment again and see where your numbers are at. You can't fault the numbers, right? Like if your numbers improve, obviously you're making progress. There are some measurable trackable things that we talk about in the subjective portion of our first session to where we can fall back on those and see, well, this is what you said before, and this is what you're saying now. So clearly there's progress, right? But people like to see numbers too. So we've got that Wilderness Fitness Combine to get numbers, to get both a subjective and an objective assessment. So not having those tracking measurements makes it super easy to say, I'm not making progress. You lost motivation. You're going to fall off, right? Reason number two is you lack clarity on your goals. It's similar to having a budget. And if you don't have a budget, you have no idea where your money is actually going, right? You think you do, but you really don't because you swipe the card or you pay cash and you kind of lose track of how much you're spending where, what you spend on groceries, what you spend on gas, because you're doing things as you quote unquote need. But sometimes those needs get fudged in with what's actually a want. And then you start spending money and you're wondering why the hell you can't pay off your student loans or why you can't pay off your side-by-side or your four-wheeler or why you don't have enough cash to go on a hunt. Or worse yet, you get there and you realize that you don't have enough cash to tip your guide if you're going on a guided hunt. So having a budget in place is super important in terms of getting on top of money issues. And it's the same thing with goals in life and goals in fitness. If you don't have clarity on the direction that you're going, your compass is going to be all over the place. You're going to go north, you're going to go west, you're going to go south. It's like hiking around in the mountains, but you have no idea. You're off trail and you have no idea which way you're going. You don't have an end destination. You don't have the roadmap to get there. So you really don't know which direction to go, right? You go one direction and you second guess and then you go back. Developing those SMART goals, they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Developing those goals, obviously, they're going to change as time goes on, right? You might have a 5-year goal, a 3-year goal, a 1-year goal, a 6-month goal, and a 2-month goal. But having those goals down so that way you're working towards something. And then as you're working towards that goal, something else might pop up where you veer off and work towards that new goal, right? But at least you have a direction now, right? You're going northeast, you're going southwest. You're not going northeast for like 3 stops and I didn't make it in time like I thought I was going to, and now I'm going to go southeast. And now you're just spinning in circles when you zoom out and look at your actual path. Okay. If you've never been good with writing goals, I get that all the time. Like, I've never been good at writing my stuff down. I kind of just do things. Well, there's a reason why you're not making the progress. Your life, your fitness is not where you want it to be. And maybe some other things in life are not where you want them to be, is because these things are not written down. Your goals are not written down. You're not very specific. So you're not getting there because you don't see them every day in writing, right? There's a reason why you're not good at something. It takes practice to get good at something. The simple act of writing them down, not just typing them out, but actually writing them down and putting them on your refrigerator, in your bathroom, somewhere where you're going to see them every day, multiple times a day. Not in your office that you go in once a day, not in your bedroom that you might have where you see them once a day, where you wake up in the morning and then you leave or go to bed at night, somewhere where you're going to walk by them multiple times a day. Okay. If you have company come over, hide them, right? Or if you're not ashamed, keep them out. You shouldn't be ashamed of having goals written down. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, but have them written down somewhere so that way you see them every day and you're reminded. So reason number 1, you lack measurable tracking measurements. Reason number 2, you lack clarity on your goals. Reason number 3 that you're not consistent with working out is you lack the knowledge of the most efficient roadmap. I went to school for my undergraduate was exercise science, so I've been writing workout routines since 2012. Obviously, I have my doctorate in physical therapy. I am a certified strength and conditioning specialist. I got that in 2018. So I've been in the fitness industry since 2012. I've been doing this stuff for 13 years now as I'm going through this podcast. So fitness comes quite easy to me in terms of exercise progressions, regressions, modifying it, scaling it, depending on what the person needs. But not everybody has that background, right? So you lack the knowledge of that roadmap to get from where you're at to where you want to be. So you buy these programs, you might buy Elk Shape, you might buy Mayhem Hunt, you might buy Mountain Tough. You do these programs, you're spending 2 hours in the gym each day, hour and a half in the gym each day, which really isn't realistic in the long run. Life is going to come up, and maybe you own your own business and you have that kind of free time and you're able to spend 2 hours in the gym each day, but things are going to fill your plate up. So 2 hours in the gym is generally unrealistic. And I don't expect that out of my clients either. 45 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and 15, depending on how long your warm up and cool down needs to be for any sort of extra rehab that you're doing. But you need to be realistic with how much time you're going to spend in the gym. But again, that roadmap, you don't have the education, you don't have the background, you don't have the familiarity that I do, and that most like physical therapists, exercise scientists, fitness professionals do. So it's very hard for you to look at something and say, I just bought this program. Here's where my deficits are. Let me modify this program a little bit to fit it to my needs, right? So you don't know how to do that, which again is not your fault. You don't have that background. You might be a plumber. You might be I don't know, a stockbroker. You might be someone that, a guide, a hunting guide. So you don't have like, that's what you do for a living. You don't have the fitness science, the exercise science as a background. There is no, in terms of like buying these programs and lacking the knowledge, there is not a specific protocol. Folks tend to get injured when they follow a store-bought, I'll put that in quotes, air quotes, a store-bought program that is not tailored to them. That program is not scaled or is not designed for your progression. It might be too quick. It might be too slow. The starting point may be too high. It may be too low, right? The program was built for the masses. It's not built for you, which is not wrong, right? But if you don't know how to modify that program, if you don't know how to make that roadmap specific to you, that's where injury can occur. Okay. Which leads me to that fourth reason. You continue to get injured whenever you start something. The path of fitness does not necessarily come without injury, right? And bumps in the road. That is going to happen. When you stress tissues, things are going to flare up. Okay. That's why you hire a coach. You hire someone that's familiar with fitness, familiar with rehab, so that way they can guide you through these bumps in the road. So that way these road bumps don't turn into mounds, and then that mound just knocks you back and you just don't get back on the track, right? You need to stay the course, you need to stay on the track, but expect things to happen. So that way when they do happen, it's not a surprise because you're stressing tissues, right? When you're, I don't know, doing a new bow build or trying out new gear, you're testing something, right? You're seeing what the gear can handle out in the rain, out in the sun, out in the wind. You're seeing what that gear can handle. You might hit that gear's failing point, right? And then the gear, like you go in, you might have to sew it up. You might have to repatch it. You might have to do something to it to repair that gear. The body is the same way. When you're testing things, when you're pushing the limits, and you can't push the limits all the time, but when you are pushing the limits, you're going to find the weaknesses. You're going to find the deficits, and fitness is going to highlight that. Expect that. That is okay to happen. What's not okay is for you to completely fall off the map and just say, every time that I try to improve my fitness, I get injured. Yes, that's very common. Okay. Get someone in your corner that can help you through those help you through those road bumps. So that way you are able to continue down that path of fitness and eventually get over those road bumps. All right. And then see a higher quality of life. Okay. So in summary, the reasons why you're not consistent aren't completely your fault, right? Instagram and all these other places, the influencers have made fitness seem super complicated, but most notably, you lack measurable tracking measures. You've got to have numbers to it. I'm not big on numbers, but having numbers makes things super easy to track. You lack your clarity on goals. You've got to write down your goals. Even if it's 1 or 2 goals, write them down. All right. Get them in a spot that you can see them every day. Number 3, you lack the knowledge of the most efficient roadmap. You're buying programs, you're spending a ton of time in the gym, but there is not necessarily a specific roadmap to your fitness. I give you frameworks, I give you the buoys to stay within, and then you navigate within the framework, you navigate within the buoys. I don't give a specific workout programs simply because every person is different. I teach you how to navigate the fitness life and the fitness realm, so that way you can do it yourself. And the last reason is you get injured whenever you start a new workout routine or a new workout program. Understand that the path to fitness does not come without bumps in the road. Understand that those bumps in the road are common. Understand that you need to have someone in your corner to navigate those road bumps with you, not for you, but with you. So that way you can continue down that path of fitness and eventually enjoy a higher quality of life. Okay. If you need help, I was just making sure I didn't miss anything in the notes. If you need help with any of this, take the quiz. I've got it in the show notes. Take the quiz. It's 15 questions. It's super easy. I think it's definitely less than 90 seconds. It's a bunch of yes, no questions. There's not a whole lot of thinking to it. It's very black and white. So that way you don't have to think. It's Yes, I'm doing it. No, I'm not. Okay. Once you take the quiz, there's a link to to my calendar. We can get you on an onboarding call or a discovery call, whatever you want to call it. The worst to come from the call is you find clarity in where you need to go. The best thing to come from the call is you find that clarity in where you need to go, and then you get me on your side to help you navigate that path. So that way you can eventually be on your own and doing your own thing with your workouts and with your fitness and overall with your health. So you don't have to go see a surgeon, you don't have to see a primary care provider, and you can do your own thing and enjoy yourself. So anyway, hope you guys have a great Saturday. Thank you for tuning in for the doubleheader. Sorry about the wait the last 2 weeks. I've been trying to navigate that live button option, but I think I'm just going to go a different route until Instagram gets it figured out. I don't know. But anyway, have a great rest of your Saturday. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather that Alaska seems to be having. Hopefully you guys in the rest of the United States and Canada are enjoying yourselves, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.